Promise you that we're going to be giving you a nice easy start into the weekend. Now, Johannesburg Opera is promising an exhilarating performance with their upcoming spring concert. To tell us more, I'm joined by Johannesburg Opera founder, manager and artistic director Phenye Modiane. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning and thank you for having us.
The Johannesburg Opera. Now, you do quite a lot within this. I mean, you are, founder, you are director. Tell us about the organization, how you were founded and why you thought it was important.
Those are the perks of having a small business and starting a business from scratch. And so I started this company after the demise of Joburg Opera, and that was in August of 2019. And obviously 2020 we were hit by COVID, so we started doing some things online, some shows online actually. And so we've just continued like that. And so the artists of Johannesburg Opera have been I think very nice to me, that anything that I organize, they're willing to jump in and perform. And like I say, like you've read now, and I'm artistic director, founder, whatever, all these things. And I have to do them because also the patrons of Johannesburg Opera also want to see me on stage. They don't want to see me only behind the scenes. And I say to them, oh, we have a show. And then they say, are you singing? If I'm not singing, then some of them say, oh, maybe not. So I have to also respect them that much.
Well, I certainly take my hat off to you because really being able to balance being an artist, being an opera singer yourself, and then the administrative part of actually running an organization such as this, it just does take those juggling skills. But tell us a bit about yourself. I mean, you are an opera singer too.
Yeah, so I was born and bred in Garankuwa, and I was introduced to opera music by a school choir teacher, the late Mrs. J.C. Motwani at Mudire High School. And that was 2002, and she said to me, you have a beautiful voice, go study opera, I think you'll make it in this career. So I went to study at the Tshwane University of Technology, and then from there we started a boy band called the Gabo Moto Tenors, and we've performed with the likes of Joseph Clark, Yanni Moelmans, Mongile Mgoma, and other amazing artists in South Africa. And then I went to the State Theatre to join the Black Tie Ensemble, which changed the name to Joburg Opera, and we moved to Johannesburg. And unfortunately, the company couldn't survive without the funds and without funding, so the company closed down. And the patrons of Joburg Opera kept asking me, can you please organize the artists and so that they can come and sing? And I thought, oh, this is a great opportunity for me to start Johannesburg Opera.
Now, talking about the funding of organizations like this, Joburg Opera couldn't survive, and you mentioned it was because of the funds. How is your business model going to be different? How are you going to try and make sure that you are sustaining the Johannesburg Opera? Clearly there's a need, but how do you make the business case work?
So at Joburg, the difference between Johannesburg Opera and Joburg Opera is that at Joburg Opera we had about 20 artists that had to be paid salaries, including the students, which had to get a stipend. And then at Johannesburg Opera, I work with people per project. So that is the difference. So we only do a project with the artist and then I let them go. So I don't own artists as much as I call them the artists of Johannesburg Opera. It's because you see the same familiar faces all the time. And so that's the difference between the models. So we can survive by doing projects rather than having artists in our stable all the time that we have to pay every month, and that is strenuous, because then if you don't have funding, then artists will look at you and say, we're supposed to be surviving through this, and you can't even pay our salaries.
So it's more of a freelance basis.
Yeah, it is.
And that really frees up the artist to be able to perform elsewhere.
Elsewhere, yeah, exactly. So I don't own artists, and some of them ask me for advice, and I help them. Some of them I negotiate for them, and I tell them I can help you if you want to do something, or someone's asking you to do something. I'm free to advise you or to help you, to even coach you, or to train them. So that's the job that I do for these artists.
And as far as your personal career is concerned, what are the dreams that you still have? I mean, I know a lot of performers, everybody wants to perform at the top of their game. An opera singer would want to say, I want to sing with Pavarotti. What is that dream for you?
Well, for me, right now, I think my focus is on Johannesburg Opera, is to make it the best as it could be. And if we could get funding so that we can put shows on the stage. We want to put operas, we want to put opera galas on stage, on big stages, and that's what I want to do, because that will give a lot of opportunities for young singers, that will give a lot of opportunities for South African artists who are also in Europe that want to come back home and perform for you, because when you have conversations with them, they say, we want to come home, and not to stay, but when we come home for holidays and stuff like that, we are willing to perform for the audiences in South Africa, but there's no opportunities.
Are there partnership with the likes of perhaps Joburg Theatres, because they have a number of theatres that are under their banner, and yours is also a very developmental type of organization. Are there partnerships of that?
We are still in talks. We're still in talks. We've been having these talks, and we're trying to find a way that we can merge the two, or for us to work under the city of Johannesburg, obviously through the Johannesburg Theatre or the Joburg Theatre. So we're still in talks. The talks are still in early stages.
Early stages.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Have you done your warm-up for this morning?
Yes, I have. Yes,
can you give us a...
Do you want me to sing for you right now? You want me to?
I'll give you a moment. I'll give you a moment
to catch my breath.
To catch your breath. Do your warm up.
Yes.
I did promise everybody at home. I did promise you all that you are going to be wowing them into the weekend.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll give you a moment to do that in just a moment. That's awesome. He is Phenye Modiane, opera singer himself, but also the founder, manager, and artistic director at Johannesburg Opera.